Hello, it's Simone. I am here to share my favorite inks and my favorite pen and ink combination of May 2023. Before I dive into that, I want to show you how April turned out. I inked the Esterbrook ST in Honeycomb with a broad nib with Diamine Brandy Snap. I just needed to, what brand was that? And I'm still very much in love with it. However, I noticed that when writing on this specific paper, which is Cosmo Air Light, it dries differently than it does on other papers. I am just looking if I can show you somewhere. Maybe on here. Nope. Where is my currently inked notebook? How prepared am I? This is May, so that's not what I'm looking for. Here you can clearly see the difference. I feel this dries down a little bit more darker for sure, and also on here it has a little more orangey yellow tint, whereas here it dries down a lot browner than I was expecting it to dry. This is just shows again how different papers also affect the way inks look. And so sometimes when we don't like an ink on one paper, we might like it on another. All right, so this is my experience. I really enjoyed it. It feels like this broad nib is a little broader than the broad nib that I experienced with Sarah's pen. But overall, I'm super, super happy. So if we just want to recap, also this is how the paper looks when you actually abuse it on both sides of the paper. It does start to bleed through or ghost, especially when on the places where I used the water brush. It seems like it does something to the structure of the paper where it then isn't as stable anymore any longer. Same with, I told you that in the other video, when I stamped, where I stamped on the other side, the writing was different on this side. So it's interesting to see that I have very many light colors. So I'm going to go and dive into May. In May, I had quite some changes while I was using the pen. And that was due to the fact that I sold this Kaweco AL Sport in Golden Espresso. So I had to use a different pen. This was a new pen that came in, so I switched them over, but the experience in this pen was not as good as the experience was in the Kaweco, which in my experience, for me, most of my Kawecos that I had in my fountain pen lifetime were drier than all the other pens, but here it seems like the SD was drier. Can you see the difference in color? Same ink, different pen and nib. Then I swapped pens with a friend. So I gave her my Platinum 3776 Laurel Green with a medium nib. I had that inked with Birmingham Pen Co. Cold Steel, and that ink was very wet. Ghosted and bled through when I did and when I wrote with it. So I didn't want to, because she gave me the Platinum 3776 with a broad nib, I didn't want to use that ink in a broad nibbed pen. So I looked for an ink color that was similar to this, a very dark blue, and I found J. Urban Bleu des Profondeurs. And that as you can see, Wow Amazing worked out really well. And then the reason why I swapped pens was because I won the Platinum 3776 Shape of Heart with a medium nib. So I wanted to see if I was able to swap one of my medium nibs, well, the one that I didn't win, to a different nib size. So I could experience two different sized nibs. And then I filled that pen with Papier Plume Desire. Also looks very different here. I also sold the TWSBI VAC 700R in Iris. Papier Plume looked much darker in this pen than it did in the 3776. But the inks that I picked for today were, of course, Kobe number 34 Sourakuen Tea Green. This ink is on my list of inks I would like to purchase. It was my #1 pen and ink combination of May. And I had that pen inked starting in May all the way. It was still inked in June 2nd. It was still inked in July. But I think I then uninked it in, it's still Sourakuen Green Tea. I did that probably sometime around the middle or end of July. And then in August I uninked it. So I had that inked from May all the way through quite a few months. I still have a little bit left, and basically that's the reason why I did not want to ink up the Pilot Custom 823, because I want to use this ink again, maybe in a different pen. Then the other ink that I picked is the one that I purchased a bottle of, Dominant Industry Earl Grey Tea. I think I have found my favorite orange ink, and that is it. So I want to show you that. I had that in a Jinhao X159. I am still looking for someone who would like to receive that as a present. So if you're interested, please leave a comment down below. I don't feel like I'm keeping this. That pen is just not doing it for me anymore. I'd rather have other pens in my collection and not rake up the number with this pen. It's definitely a really good pen for the price. It's a great pen. You can gauge whether the section width of the pen, the girth, is what you enjoy in fountain pens. But yeah, I have so many other pens that I enjoy more that I feel like I should not keep pens that are just meh. Meh is even a bad word for that. They just don't. I pick a different pen every time I have the chance to pick this, so why should I keep it, even if it's great? Okay, so the last ink, of course, is the Bleu des Profondeurs by Earl, and I picked this pen and ink combination because for the very first time using a Platinum 3776, I had a good experience. I feel like Platinums and we have I seem to pick the wrong inks so many times for my Platinum pens. And so when I find an ink that works really well in those pens, I am ecstatic. And so I want to show you how that looks in a pen, and that's why I picked this combination to share today. Okay, let's start with Kobe number 34, Sourakuen Tea Green. Did I pick green inks? No. Interesting. I feel like if I would assess myself, I would say that I'm not necessarily a person who is drawn to green, but that seems to have changed over the past years, maybe. I am extremely drawn to green pens. I just received a Pelikan M800 green demonstrator. Another pen I have on my list that I would like to buy in 2024 is the Sailor Yoseka Origin pen. That is also a green demonstrator pen. I feel like I put down way too much ink for this here. It is actually much nicer than this dark green splotch. We'll see how it looks when I'm writing. And then if I had my way, Kobe, then I would also get that number 34. Let me just write this. I can't talk and write at the same time, especially when it's tea. Green. Let me just do this. It's a dark olivey green. It's so pretty. And it does look really dark green when it's in a fine line, for sure. It might also have been changing its color a little bit because it's been in here for almost a year now. I'm trying to keep my there's a guy standing in front of my house looking. Why is he doing that? I'm trying, what am I saying? What am I trying to say? Yes, I'm trying to keep my ink samples. Maybe I'm just putting down too much ink for my splotches here. This one is also really big, so I'm just going to circle this. It has some undertones of purple when I look at it now. Let's see what the chromatography, there is some chromatography on the the kitchen towel. So I'm trying to keep them out of light. There is my train of thought. It's back. Because I feel like that is negatively affecting the ink samples that I have. Now that I have the opportunity to do so, I am doing that. I'm going to just write here. But I have been strangely drawn to green, and green was never a favorite color of mine, but I love to try all the olivey greens, the yellow leaning greens like this in inks. I seem to be drawn to fountain pens that look that way. I have no, I don't have it. I have when I purchased my, what is it called? Bleu. A5 Galen leather cover. I picked the green one and I'm in love. So I'm very weirdly drawn to Profondeurs green in various different ways. What is that happening to you too? I can't even talk anymore. Is that happening to you too? Are you also drawn to colors that you never expected to be drawn to? That's also the reason why I keep my ink bottles in the boxes, because I currently am storing them in a drawer, so I wouldn't have to. But what if that changes at some time? I want to keep them away from direct sunlight. Is there a color that you were never drawn to when you were younger? Maybe what was your favorite color as a child and what is it now? My favorite color was blue. And now I'm feeling very drawn to teals and turquoises. But a surprise color that actually looks really good on me, as in clothing items and glasses, is purple and pink. Like the magenta kind, not the the other one. That is, and when I'm going clothes shopping, I often end up going for the very same colors too. So maybe my fountain pen color is green and ink. Green and orange, kind of dominant industry. I always want to try the oranges industry. So this is probably my favorite orange ink color. I feel like I have Earl Grey arrived at finding the perfect orange Earl Grey tea. How is that going for you? Are you content when you found an ink that you think, wow, this is awesome? There's no need for me to go looking for another hue of this specific orange or blue or green or whatever. Do you then like stop the search and just use this ink in the same pen? I'm really curious, because sometimes I think, and I think I touched on this yesterday as well, sometimes I feel like the way that I am using inks and like experiencing them, I'm looking for an ink vial holder because I have the feeling that I need that right now. Oh no, what did I do? Is not sustainable long term. And I'm also sometimes I'm wondering, what if, again, maybe I didn't finish that train of thought yesterday, or I'm talking about the same thing over and over again. Like a big part of the fountain pen excitement and writing with fountain pens is experiencing all the different inks in the pens. What is happening here? Is this even working? Let's see if I'm going to get some ink in here. A big part for me is, maybe I should have an ink miser here. Oh my gosh. Yep, now I got some ink. I'm so glad. This is a cat toy. I don't know why it always keeps beeping. Not beeping, like making that sound, because I don't know how to turn it off. It just stops, and then randomly at other times it starts on again. I absolutely needed to stop the video because I just could not get this thing to shut up. Okay, so this is the Platinum 3776, and I think it's just black, called black. It's a translucent, really dark grayish black. If you look at it from here, you can see what the actual resin looks like. Black, and it has rhodium trim with a broad nib. So I am going to do the same thing as I did for my April page, and then I will be back tomorrow and share how this turned out, how it felt, what I thought when I wrote with it one more time in 2023, almost 2024. And then, yeah, I'll show you what my June favorites are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this is a lovely series for you. If you're interested in the Jinhao X159, please leave a comment down below and I'll send it to you. And then let me know how you're enjoying this series so far, if this is something I should maybe plan for in 2024 as well. Thanks so much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.